Whew. It's Hobo time! What's going on, everyone? Reed Canary here, and today we're going to be doing a review of Hobo Johnson, The Revenge of Hobo Johnson. I'll start the video off by saying this is the first Hobo Johnson record that I have heard. I've always heard of the guy, but have never really dove into his music. I think it's pretty fun to review albums that are critically acclaimed as bad, so I can see how really bad they are. And after listening to this, we'll just get into it. The biggest thing I feel like comes off with this album are the vocals. They come off as kind of awkward yet intriguing, if that makes sense. He sounds very vulnerable on a whole bunch of these songs. There's like a charm to it, I can give it that. But at certain moments of the record, it just like feels really, really weird to listen. And I also want to say, like, since I haven't really listened to his other albums, which have been claimed to be good, that I might be praising the album a little more than I should be. But it's not gonna be like a huge praising session for this thing, because what am I doing? We start off with Anton LaVey. It's a bag of a bunch of stuff. Pretty decent moments at the start, but it's just littered with generic sound effects of like crowds cheering and laughing like it's a fucking Disney show. Like Disney XD fucking kicking it. Someone does something funny, you know, that laughing thing? Yeah, that's what's kind of put on through the song, and it just sounds really, really tacky. And yeah, the second half of the song might be the worst of the whole entire album. He's talking about shoving his tongue down his throat of the devil. And talking about having sensitive lips. And he's like repeating that to let you know that he has sense. It's really awkward, especially the context of the only thing that I have heard from Hobo Johnson is that he had an STD, took his condom off, gave the girl STD, and that's what really fucked up his image, was, you know, spreading around that shit. First song had good moments, but overall, I feel like I was ready for a fucking ride after that one. Nothing gets too as crazy as that, but I'm not saying it gets too much better. The next song, I Want to See the World, is a lot better than the first track. I would say a lot better, but it's not anything too crazy either. The song topic is painfully on the nose, to the point. I want to see the world, but it fucking sucks. I don't want to see the world. I don't know. And there's odd references of MLK, and he just feels very self-centered on this song. It's like he's trying to discuss some world issues, but just doesn't come along great. And so far, like, the production on all of these are very scant acoustics, fucking acapella kind of shits that it's just, I feel like it should work. Like, I feel like if I did peep his other stuff, like, it would work out a lot better, but just so far from what I've been hearing, none of it has been pleasing. None of it has been pleasing in a way that I can even say, oh, it's not for me. But it just really doesn't sound fleshed out well whatsoever. Next song, I Want You Back, I think is a lot better song. The story on it, at least, is a little better. Just basically wanting back his ex-girlfriend, I presume. Production's a lot better. The lyrics are better. The storytelling's better. It's just, it picks up. So you're thinking, like, oh, okay, you know, we're probably going to be getting some better songs. But then we go to the therapist. Um, and I'm very wishy-washy on this song, honestly. He's talking to his therapist. And he's only thinking that his therapist is doing his job because he's getting paid for it. Isn't that like the fucking point? You think they do that shit for free? No. They go through years and years of school to be able to really understand what goes on in somebody's mind to be able to help that. Of course he's doing it because he's getting paid, because that's his fucking job. First of all, I thought that was like really just ignorant as hell. And you tell your therapist, your problems in life. Why the hell are you telling him about wanting to get a pizza place and selling soap instead of mental illness that you're going through? There's some segments where he's getting mad and he's like screaming, and it's really just, what? Why are you doing this? It's a really weird song. It's a really weird song. Ugh. Jordan's House, I didn't get the message at first. I don't really care to get the message. The hook's very bare. It's somewhat interesting, but the acoustics are just boring. The vocals are good, but it's just not anything I go to, and I really couldn't capture what the story was going. It mentions it later in the track list about going to Jordan's house. I presume Jordan is probably a boyfriend of his, or a friend, or somewhere he can go to escape whatever shit he's going through. Whatever. I don't know. It's not clear to me. I didn't pick up on. And now we get to an actually, I would say, is a really good song. I genuinely think this was a good song. I was kind of blown away when I first heard it. It's Prequel to Animal Farm. The instrumental, yes, it goes back to bland and boring, but the story on it is incredible. Essentially, he's talks about the working life of Americans. It's not the best, but it's so far the best that we have gotten so far, comparing them with farm animals, how farm animals have to work all the time even though they necessarily don't want to, and having it in the eyes perspective of a pig. It's interesting. I think he does get across to the point very well, and I do like the little comparisons about different farm animals having to work whenever they don't want to, being misused, being abused, which essentially is kind of what goes on in America, being used and abused, figuratively speaking, of course. But I feel like this was a good topic. Again, instrumental and everything just wasn't there, but it's a fine track. It's a really fine track. And then we get You Want a Baby. Oh, Bo, you want a baby? Well, I'm taking this condom off and I'm putting my STD semen all there. It's very sentimental. It's a really sentimental, sweet track, but it's really awkward when you know the circumstances. Like, oh, you want a baby? This world's so fucked up. This world's so fucked up. There's people that'll give you an STD. You want to put a baby in a world where people will do that? Whenever you're the person doing that, Mr. Hobo, lock you up. That's messed up. That's awful. And he has relatively solid points about why you don't, aside from, the fucking obvious jokes that I was making, but he makes okay points, solid points on why you don't want to have a baby in today's world, because the world is fucked up, which is right, but it's like, that's just how the world has been fucked up for ever. Like, it's just always going to be, there's not going to be any good moments in the world. Good moments, but there's not going to be any not bad moments. This is how the world works. There's just always going to be bad. There's always going to be good. And you just have to raise your kid and show them the good, not show them the bad, show them why the bad's good. It just, like, contradicts itself. It's just like, you're going to have a kid, whether the world's going to be bad or not. it's like you have an STD anyway, bro. Why? I don't know. You Need Help was very, very forgettable. The story's blah. The hook's decent, but like after the hook, when I go na 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 na, however the fuck it went, it was just so blah. It's song 9. Why is he so mad? Like, he's screaming a good bit on this track. I'll buy the soap if you can just stop yelling at me. I won't use it, but I'll buy it. His emotions, like, just throughout the track, he's either, like, just, you know, talking his shit, getting to his point, and then he's also just fucking screaming at the top of his fucking lungs, just getting every fucking anger out about not buying his fucking... I don't know. And he talks about wanting to open for 21 Pilots or 1975, which is not that bad, but literally the line after, he explains that he wants to tear their eyes out. Yeah. It just didn't flesh out too well. And then the outro is probably the dumbest shit I think I have ever heard. It's a dumb, cringy radio station TV host talking about the next album by Hobo Johnson, that when I wrote the review I thought was just a joke album that he just wanted to be just funny, with just stupid like song segments like "Be ready for Hobo Johnson's next album featuring songs Poo Poo King," and it's like fart noises and stuff like that. Like, you think I'm lying, but there's genuinely a moment that's kind of like that. It's terrible songs that, again, I thought it was a joke. I thought he was just trying to be stupid, but he actually does have an album called, what the fuck is it called? Hobo Johnson alienates his fan base, like eliminates his fan base. And he talks shit about his fan base on here too, saying like, "You don't like my music, I don't like you," and that's just tacky. It's cringy. I think it's an awful way to close an album like this. But my overall experience with this thing was underwhelming for it being my first Hobo Johnson record. Again, I think I really just need to kind of explore his other stuff, because if he is said to be drop some good albums, drops this, they don't like it, and I see the good into the album. I see the high points and everything. I can probably enjoy his other stuff a lot more, but I don't know, just from some cringy refrains, some awkward lyrics, awkward stories, bland, scant ass production. Yeah, I'm feeling a mid 3. I'm feeling a mid 3 out of 10 for this one. Will I review other Hobo Johnson records? I'll definitely listen to them, I guess. And if anything shows up and I'm like, whoa, this is great, then yeah. Other than that, yeah. This thing's no.